Hello everyone, myself Chetan Kamani. I welcome you in the fourth lecture of the Unit 2 Basics of C in the video lecture series of the Basic Computer Programming hosted by Coding Chip. In the previous lecture, I have discussed the C character set, types of token, rules for the identifiers, and backslash character constants. In today's lecture, I will discuss structure of a C programmer, then programming rules, then executing the C program, and at the end of session I will explain how to write and execute a very small our first C program. So by attending this session you will be able to understand the structure of a C program. Then you will be able to know different C programming rules. Then you will be able to understand compilation and execution of C program. So let's start with C program structure. So you can see the C program, the structure of C program contains different sections starting from documentation section to the last section is program section. So in this topic I will discuss different section of this structure of C program. Then so let's start with the first section, that is documentation section. I will explain this each section with example. Don't worry about this. This is not completely theory. This is little bit practical also, right? So what is documentation section? It consists of a set of comment lines giving the name of the program, the author, and other details which programmers would like to use later. So let me explain with example. So this is our C program. Now you have to understand each section. You do not have to worry about writing a program now. As we progress through the course, we will know how to write a program, so there is no need to worry about it. Now we just need to know which item belongs to which section. So what is our first section of C program structure? There is documentation section, and there is specifically written that it consists of set of comment lines. So very first thing you need to know about this comment. So what is comment? A comment is used to show some information about the code. So how many different types of comment, or how you can specify comment in your program. So let me explain this. So C program supports two different type of comments. So what are these different types? That is single line comments, and second one is multi-line comment. Again, C program supports two different types of C supports two different types of comments. That is saying, for the first one is single line comment and the second one is multi-line comment. So what is that? In single line comment you have to use two forward slash to write the comment in the program section. Suppose let's say write a program. I want to write a program definition, write a C program. So this will be considered as a comment. Okay, so what compiler does when it encounters a comment line in the program, it just ignore it. Okay, it is not the compiler does not convert this comment section code into executable code. Okay, it's ignored. Then multi-line comment starts with slash star, then you have to write the comment here, then end with star slash. Okay, the application of this multi-line comment is same as of single line comment. So I hope you clear about these two different types of comments, single line comment and multi-line comment. Okay, these are the two different ways you can this ways you can explain, you can write single line comment, and in this way you can write multi-line comment. I hope you have clear about this. If you have any questions or any query or any doubts regarding these comments, then you can specify in the comment section below. So let me open this. This is our Visual Studio Code. Okay, you can see in the very first part at the starting of the program I have written something like this: write a C program to calculate the area of circle using user defined function. Okay, so I think you all are clear about this. This is written in which type of comment? Multi-line comment. And very first part of any C program, if it is written like this, then it is considered as a documentation section. Okay, so you can see the name of the program, right? I have written the name of the problem definition in the documentation section. Now let's move further. Our next section is link section. So what is that in link section? The link section provides instructions to the compiler to link functions from the system library. Okay, why? To link functions from the system library. Suppose you are writing a program and you want to use a function which is specified in another file, then you have to link that file with our current program file. Okay, and to link that file, which section you have, you have to write the code, and you have to write the code in which section? In link section. So let me show you. So this is, you can see, has include stdio.h. The full form of stdio is standard input output. If you want to use any input output functions such as printf and scanf, don't worry if you do not know about these functions. I will explain it in the later part of the course, right? So there are two functions, printf for the output and scanf for the input. If you want to use these two different functions, then you must have to include this file. Which file? stdio.h header file. .h means header. Okay, so what is header file? A header file is one special file which contains definitions of the already defined functions, definitions of the functions, right? So this section has included stdio.h. we can consider it as a link section. Okay, now let's move further. So our next section is definition section. You can see the definition section defines all symbolic constants. What does it define? It defines all symbolic constants. So you can see in the program, what is that? Yes, this is our definition section. Okay, I have written this has defined pi, that is pi, that is mathematical notation pi, and the value of pi you all already know that 3.14, right? So I have used this symbolic constant pi in my program, and I want to use it everywhere in my program. So I have defined this pi, I have defined the meaning of pi in the definition section. Okay, you can do much more than this in the definition section, but I have written this simple program for the sake of this simple code for the sake of simplicity. Okay, that's all for definition section. Then our next section is global declaration section. So there are some variables that are used in more than one function. Such variables are called global variables and are declared in the global declaration section, that is outside of all the function. Okay, let me show you with example. You can easily find that this is radius. I have declared one variable radius whose type is float, and I have to use this radius command in some more than one function, right? I want to use this radius variable in more than one function, so I have to declare and initialize this variable in the global declaration section. Okay, then there is something more. This section also declares all the user defined functions. Okay, so in this case you can see I have written this statement. Don't worry if you do not know about this statement, because I will explain this different things in the later part of the course. Don't worry about this. Okay, so this is the prototype, this is the function prototype, this is the function prototype. I have declared this function in the global variable declaration section. Okay, so this is specifically written. This section is also declared all the user defined functions. Now let's move further. Then our main function section. So what is that? Every C program must have one main function section. You must have this main function in your program. This section contains two parts, declaration part and executable part. You can see this declaration and executable. So what is the use of this declaration part? The declaration part declares all the variables used in the executable part. Okay, if you want to use that particular variable in your executable part, then you must have to declare it in the declaration part. There is at least one element in executable part. These two parts must appear between opening and closing braces. This is main function, and this is opening braces, this is closing braces. The program execution begins at the opening brace and ends at the closing brace. The program execution begins with declaration part and it goes to the executable part. That's all. The closing brace is the logical end of the program. All statements in the declaration and executable parts end with semicolon. You must have to write semicolon. Okay, you can see this is our main function. This is our main function. This is, we can call this is the data type of the main. Here I have specified integer. Don't worry, I will discuss data type in the next lecture. This is our main function. You can see opening braces, this is our closing braces, and these are the statements. Okay, so this is declaration and this is execution. Okay, let me show you. This is declaration and this is our execution. This is our declaration part. And our execution part will start from this line. Okay, that's all. Now let's move further. The next section, there is subprogram section. The subprogram section contains all the user defined functions that are called in the main function. User defined functions are generally placed immediately after the main function, although they may appear in any order. If you have more than one function, then you can write in the any order. I have defined one user defined function. What is the name of this user defined function? Area circle. Okay, don't worry about the code, I am just explaining the C program structure. Okay, to explain the C program structure, I must have to include all the sections. That's why I have specified here. That's why I have written here. Okay, so this is area of circle is my user defined function, and what does it do? It finds the area of the circle. What is the of circle of what radius? Okay, for that I have to pass the radius here. Okay, let me execute this. Okay, right now I'm not executing, I will execute it later, don't worry. So that's all for the subprogram section. Now let me revise the things that I have already discussed. So this section is known as documentation section. This is our documentation section. This is our link section. This is our this is our definition section. This two I can consider as a global variable declaration section. This is our main function, and in main function this I can call as a declaration part, and this I can call it as a executable part, right? And this things I can call as a subprogram section. I think you have a clear idea about the C program structure. Before writing any program, you must have to know this C program structure, otherwise you will not able to write a proper C program, right? Okay. So there are so many times in any university exam they ask to explain a C program structure. You have to write each and every component or each and every section of you have to explain each and every section. Then you have to, if you explain each and every section with this example, then you will get more marks. Okay, so that's all for the C program structure. Now we move further to our programming rules. So what are the different programming rules you have to keep in your mind while writing the C program, right? So very first rule, every C program should have main function. Okay, each and every C program from which your execution starts, it must have a main function. Then C statement should be terminated by a semicolon. At some places a comma operator is permitted. For example, if you want to declare more than one variable, then you can use comma operator, but your each and every statement must be terminated by semicolon, except there are some exceptionals. I will discuss it about later part of the course. Then third, if only a semicolon is placed, it is treated as a statement. Okay, if only a semicolon you write, then it is treated as a statement, but it is treated as an empty statement, right? An unessential semicolon is placed by the programmer, it is treated as an empty statement. Then all statements should be right in lowercase letter. Generally uppercase letters are used only for symbolic constants. You can consider our previous program I have written here. Okay, this is our symbolic constant. Let me show you with yellow letter. This is our symbolic constant. You can see I have written it is in capital letter, right? So as it is written here, uppercase letters are used only for symbolic constants. Blank spaces may be inserted between the words. This leads to improvement in the readability of the statements. Okay, but you cannot insert this blank space in the variable name, keyword name, in variable, keyword, constant or function. I have discussed about the identifiers or C tokens in the previous section. If you have not watched that video, then please watch it before this video. However, this is not applicable while declaring a variable, keyword, constant and function. It is not necessary to fix the position of the statement in the program. That is, a programmer can write the statement anywhere between the two braces following the declaration part. There is no need to specify a particular position for the particular statement in your C program. That you have to keep in mind, right? Focus on this statement. This is valid because it is end with semicolon. This is also valid, and you can write this both statement in like this way also, because end is the terminator. Sorry, semicolon is the terminator of the statements. Then there are so many times a programmer can do mistake in this case. Let's see. The opening and closing braces should be balanced. If opening braces are 4 and closing braces should be also 4. Let's say if you open any bracket, then you have to close it also. Right? If you only open 2, then you must have to close 2. You have to keep in mind. There are so many times programmer make mistake in this case. Programmers make a mistake in this case, and when they compile the program, compiler will identify the error. Okay, so generally compiler not mostly compiler identify the error, and this type of error is known as syntax error. So that's all about the programming rules. Now we are going to discuss execution of C program. Okay, you can see a C program this is the execution diagram. Do not worry, I will explain this. Okay, a C program must go through various phases such as creating a program with editor, execution of preprocessor program, compilation, linking, and loading and executing the program. So you can see very first step is source program editor, right? Source program editor. You have to write program in any C editor. In our case, in this course, I am using which editor? Try to remember. I am using Visual Studio VS Code editor. VS Code, right? I am using VS Code in this case. And you have to write a program. Then you have to save it. Generally, the extension of the C programming is .c. Okay. After writing the C program, after writing a program with C editor, the programmer has to compile the program, right? And the preprocessor program executes first automatically before the compilation of the program. So what purpose does it serve? During preprocessing, the preprocessor replaces every occurrences of pi in the program with 3.5 as I have done in the previous program. Okay, let me show you. This is our program, right? This is our program. I have written it in the VS Code editor, and whenever I start compiling this program, very first things to do is there is pre-processing. Very first thing, pre-processing is to be done at first. So what does pre-processor do? It will replace pi each and everywhere. You can see pi here. It will replace pi with 3.14. That is called pre-processing. Then it will include all this stdio, it will include all the functions which is specified in this file in this program. These two things will be done in the pre-processing. Okay, inclusion of the stdio.h file and replacing of pi with 3.14. Okay, the preprocessor program executes first automatically before the compilation of program. As I explained, the preprocessor replaces occurrences of pi in the program with 3.14, as I have done in the previous example. A programmer can include other files in the current file, as I have told you, stdio.h header file. Inclusion of other files is done initially in the preprocessor section. Then the next thing, okay, what about color, right, red, black. So what happens first when you compile the program? Pre-processing. Then the source program contains statements that are to be translated into object code. Which code? Object code. And these object codes are suitable for execution by the computer. If a programmer contains errors, the programmer should correct them. You can see if there is an error during the compilation process, it must be corrected by the programmer. And if there is no error, in the program, then compilation proceeds and translated program is stored in another file with the same file name with the extension .obj. And after this generation object file, linking process to be done, and it will convert it into executable code. While the linking process, the compiler what compiler does, it links with the system library code with the with the object code, and by combining this it will generate executable object code, and when that is our exe file, right? And when you click on the .exe file, it will start execution. And if you find any error, logical error, if it is related to input, then you have to again run it again. And if you have any other types of error, logic related error, then you have to correct it in the edit program. Then you have to do this process again. And if you found there is no error, then it will get proper output. Okay, that's all for the executing the C program. Let me show you with example. So this object file, I told you, when you compile this program, compiler will generate an object file. Then you have to link it with the system library, and then you have to generate the output file, that is executable code. Okay, but when you execute your program, you in Windows operating system, like this. Let me remove this. Okay, so when you execute your program, okay, you will get this output, and you can see there is one C program.exe file generated. Okay, you will not find .object file in Windows operating system, but if you want to generate object file explicitly, then you have to execute this command. And let me close this, because it generates directly which file, executable file. But if you still want to generate object file, then you have to write this command. For that, you have to open terminal, right? And in the terminal you have to write, I'm using MinGW GCC compiler. I have done it, I have already installed, and I have explained it also how to install it. If you are not able to do this, and if you have not installed, if you don't know about GCC, then please do my previous video. Okay, then you have to write GCC. Your path must be the same path in which your file has been stored. Okay, you have to write GCC, then -c, then -c, then I have to compile my file name. What is my file name? That is C structure.c. Once I execute this, you can see there is one C structure.object file. Okay, whenever you compile this C programming file with GCC and -c, you will find this object file, and the name of the object file is same as of your previous file, that is C structure. So what I have done, I have generated this object file, then I have to link this object file, and I have to convert with the system library. Then this object file will convert it into executable file after linking. Okay, so how can I convert? GCC -o and program, then I have to write C structure.o. So what does it do? It creates program.exe file by linking C structure.o file with the appropriate system files. Okay, when I execute this command, you can see there is a program.exe file, and when I load this exe file, loading means, as I told you, after the compilation, an executable object code will be loaded. After compilation, the executable code will be loaded in the computer's main memory, that is a RAM, and the program is executed. For that, I have to write here program.exe. Okay, start exe. Okay, you can see the code /. Okay, whenever you want to execute your exe file, then you have to write dot and slash. You can see the output here. The area of circle is 50.240002. Okay, don't worry, you do not have to execute or create object file like that. You just have to click on this button. Let me delete this. Okay, don't worry, I just show you because you must have idea about the object file or how you can create object file. Okay, in future you will not need to create, you will not need to do, or you will not need to create this object file by using those commands which I have written in the terminal section. You just have to write the program and click on this button. You can see the output here. That's all. You do not need to worry about the object file, because it is automatically everything will be handled by this MinGW compiler. Okay, and it will directly convert into exe file. Okay, I just show you because you must have idea about the object file, right? Now we are going to write. That's all for the executing of C program. Then our first program, or first small C program that you have to write, has include stdio.h, this is our header file. Then you have to specify the data type, then main, then opening braces, closing braces. Then you have to write what does this program do. I have to write a program which will print out hello world on the screen. Okay, for this I have to use printf function, then hello world, then closing bracket, then semicolon, then return 0. Don't worry about the what actually we are doing in this case. You just have to copy this program. You will be understand as soon as you progress in this case, okay, in the C program, right? So very main function, a function ends with always closing and opening bracket, opening and closing bracket. Then you have to write this curly bracket, then you have to write printf. Okay, each and every word of printf are in all small keywords and small letters. Then you have to write this hello world in this double inverted comma, then closing bracket, then semicolon. You know that each and every statement of C program ends with semicolon. Then you have to write return. This is keyword, so you have to write it in small letters, then 0, then semicolon, then closing bracket. Okay, so this is already have done. This is our program. Write a C program to display hello world on the output screen. Has include stdio.h, integer main, printf hello world, return 0. Then execute the program. You can see the output here, hello world. So what you have to do, what your task is, you have to execute this program and put your screenshot in the comment box. Then I will see have you done, then I will see have you got the result, or have you got the output or not, have you got any error or not. I just want to check it. Okay, so whenever you watch this video, you have to execute this program in your editor, and you have to share the screenshot of the output in the comment section. Okay, that's it. These are the 2 books from which I have taken references for this lecture. So that's all about this lecture. Thank you for watching this video lecture. If you have any doubts or any queries or any suggestions, then write in the comment section below. And yeah, don't forget to like, share and subscribe this channel. Do hit the bell icon to get the latest notification for the next video lecture of this video lecture series. And once again, thank you so much. Thank you.